This is our Hendersonville transformation story, completed over 18 months starting in May of 2011. It encompasses the $70 million Roadway product line consisting of LED and HID Cobra street lighting, tunnel lights, high mast lights, and others. Now, let us share our story with you.
Welcome to the General Electric Lighting Solutions facility in Hendersonville, North Carolina. My name is Patrick Peterson and I'm the plant manager. Behind me is the M400 production line before transformation. This line was designed for high volume output. We use MRP as a push system to purchase parts and to schedule. The legacy strategy was that to better serve the customer, you built single lines which produced more and more volume. This method forced us to batch our orders. However, the majority of our customer orders are 15 and less, and this method wasn't working. We need to satisfy all of our customers, big and small. We needed a new strategy, hence transformation.
Hello, I'm Luke Barrett, Business Transformation Team Leader for Order Flow. Before transformation, our customer lead times were 4 to 6 weeks, and we're only hitting those customer due dates 40 to 60% of the time. Also, our method of scheduling was not customer focused. We'd allow orders to accumulate throughout the week and then schedule them on Friday. The next week, the components were made, and the following week, the fixtures would be scheduled for assembly. And the assembly area would receive only a list of SKUs and quantities. They would not even know what the customer due dates were. The line coordinators were responsible for gathering the necessary paperwork, like drawings, bills of materials, in order to produce those SKUs. We know we needed to change. So we created a business transformation team and developed a vision, which was to transform ourselves into customer-centric business and be best in class. With the help of sales, marketing, and product management, we learned that to be best in class, we needed to have customer lead times of 10 days with 95% fill rates. To achieve this, the order flow team process mapped and then simplified the entire customer order entry to shipment process. We focused on the M400 area first. Since going live in September of 2011, we have seen our cycle times reduced to 6 days and fill rates have improved to 98%. We then decided to go a step further. We will use current technologies to eliminate the paper work order packet, implement a paperless order flow, and cut our customer order to shipment cycle to 3 days, which will really differentiate ourselves in the marketplace. And now I'll hand it over to Lori to help explain the process.
Hi, I'm Lori Dunn, the IT leader for the 3-day project. Simplifying the process took us from 6 weeks to 10 days. Automating the process will now take us to 3 days. As part of the overall business transformation strategy, we will have an order digitally entered, flow untouched to the shop floor, and shipped within 3 days. This is all part of the paperless 3-day vision of eliminating paperwork packets while putting tools in place to further reduce the order entry, product assembly, and shipment times.
Hello, my name is Ken Mecklenburg. I'm the materials manager and segment lead here at Hendersonville. And what I wanted to do is explain our work order and sales order packets and why they're important. What we were tasked to do in the beginning of the transformation was to create a process that could go through the shop from coil winding to making ballast to assembling the finished good and shipping. What we came up with is a work order packet. And I'll go through what we have in the work order packet and the steps that we have. First thing we did is we get a sales order, convert it to a work order, and then printed the bill of materials, both the assembly and the ballast bill of material. Through that, we would have to scan it and pull out all the necessary information that we would need. This would include things like coil drawings and assembly drawings. And in the meantime, what we would do is send the finished goods and the quantity to the label room first thing so that they could print off the necessary labels. This would include the wiring diagrams, the nameplates, miscellaneous labels, and carton labels. After we've got those, we create something called the cover sheet, which is soon going to be the traveler. On this is all the necessary information that anybody can scan. It's always in front of the packet. As solid as the process is, and as proven as it is, we knew that it was labor intensive, paper intensive, and tedious. From the very beginning, we knew that we would have to automate it, and that was part of our design. That's where IP comes in.
So now we're getting orders out faster, with less labor and more accurately. Now to produce all these orders, we have to have material. So let's go talk about that.
Hello, my name is Brian Black, the Business Transformation Materials Team Leader. Materials is a very integral part to the whole new process. Materials will always be there is our mantra. All material, no matter how infrequently used, as long as it's on the bill of material, we're going to keep it in stock. It's much different than the MRP system, where you order parts as necessary. The nice thing about the pull system is it's asked for the material that's needed when they need it, where the push system sends the material on a wide open schedule, and they end up with all the material in their area that they don't even need. Our pull system for the material replenishment consists of a centralized supermarket that stores material in dedicated locations, a mini market, which is localized storage near the production lines. The two markets are tied together with the material replenishment loops, signaled by the Kanban cards. In the in-house part making, once we learned and got sound processes to pull material into the supermarket, it started flowing very smoothly, and everybody loves it because their schedule is very crisp and clear. They're just filling to a safety stock in the supermarket.
My name is Gary Kidd and I work in the supermarket. And here in the supermarket, all parts have a dedicated location. Because of these dedicated locations, inventory accuracy is improved. This helps us also to get parts to the line in a quicker fashion. This makes the whole process just simpler. Transactions are simplified. A one-shot barcode to transfer the material, and Kanban cards have all the information to pick and send the material to the mini market. Before the Kanban card system, parts were randomly placed throughout the warehouse. We had to look them up to see where they were located. When we got there, sometimes the parts were there, sometimes they were not. And now, because of the Kanban card system, everything has a dedicated location, and when we get there, the parts are there.
Hi, I'm Sherry Pearson. I'm from the transformation team. I'm going to talk today about setting up the mini mart. We took a year's average of parts that was used. You make your locations for each part, separating them by families, such as your hardware, your gaskets, your leads. You put them all together, or your high runner parts that are used every day. We kind of put them together. You also make sure that every part that is associated with that product you're building is in the mini mart, even down to the tape that even tapes up the box. We also decided on quantities per bin, how many parts will go in a box. We use smalls, medium or large size. You make sure that you keep all your weight below 35 pounds because of the ergo issues. Also a factor is how often the part is used during that part of the year. That's how many parts we also decided it goes into a box. And the main goal is to never run out of parts so that we supply our customers.
Hi, I'm Pam Goolsby. I'm in charge of the Kanban card system. Kanban card is the signal to replenish parts from the supermarket to the mini market. The Kanban card has its important information from and to the markets, part numbers and descriptions, from and to the locations, the bin quantities, and Kanban IDs, which are used for transactions.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Brady, and I'm the material handler for the new transformed M400 line. The old way we used to do things was a guessing game. We had to know, do I need this or that, or where do I need to go, or how many? Now it's nonsense. The bin is empty and it comes back filled. We have made great strides towards standardization of material flow. It's a simplified process. I take back an empty and I bring back a full one. It's less stress, and I don't have to worry about looking for another area and where to go to get it. And we never run out of a part as long as the Kanban cards are handled in a proper manner.
It is very important that you adhere to the strict disciplines, which are simple rules. 3 places the Kanban card should be:
in the mini market, on the way to the supermarket, on the way back to the mini market. If you do not follow these rules, you will run out of material on the line.
Hello, my name is David George. I'm the Manufacturing Transformation Leader, and today I'm going to talk about the new customer-centric manufacturing methods we use during transformation. So thanks to Luke and Brian, manufacturing has the two things they need to service the customer. The first thing we need is an order. And as Luke showed, the orders now come in electronically, and it's a first in, first out. There's no more scheduling, and the operator merely prints the next order in queue just by hitting a button on the screen. The next order prints out. When they print the next work order, what happens is they get a printout of the order, and from this, at any stage of the process, this can be scanned in, and the relevant information the operator needs at that stage is now displayed on the screen for that work order. And you have the work order, you have the customer, how many they ordered, and then we have things like the bill of material and any relevant drawings for that stage. So all information the operator needs up to date and is right there for the operator. So the first of two new ideas we had for customer-centric manufacturing, the first was merely to only build what the customer ordered. No more batching, so if the customer ordered 5 or 30 or 100, we made just that many for that customer. And the second idea was linking ballast manufacturing, which you see the start of here next to me, with assembly manufacturing. So there'd be no batching from the ballast department. We would merely make in line with the assembly process. So when our ballasts come out of the treat oven and they're finished with ballast manufacturing, they're queued up by order with their cover sheet, and they're ready for picking. And thanks to Brian and the materials team, we have any part needed for any order locally stored here in our mini mart. And so what we have is we have a picker that will scan that work order, go through the mini mart, and pick every part needed for that work order. And we have a couple examples over here. And just to kind of show you the variation and what has to be picked is, we have an order here where there's just a couple parts picked for it, and we have this order right next to it where you can see there are many extra parts needed to fulfill this order. Also during the picking process, all labels are printed to demand. So when the picker scans that work order, as we show back there, printing out here will be all the different labels needed and the exact quantity needed for that product. So the next part of customer centricity comes into play with fixture assembly. And historically, we had one production line for each product. And what would happen was, being engineers, manufacturing people, and being measured on efficiency, we would want to minimize setups. And we would do that by, running all the large lots, batching things, and pushing the small lot orders to the back. And only really doing them when either customer service was yelling for a customer, or when we ran out of parts for our large lots and those were the only parts we had left. So to become customer-centric and see what we should do, the first thing was we looked at our customer order data history. And what we found out was that 80% of our orders were for 15 or less, what we consider small lots. And we knew from this data that we had to address 3 different order types. Small lots, 15 or less, what we consider large lots, 15 to 500, and then what we considered special projects, 500 or more. And we had to develop a method to serve each of these customers in an efficient manner for us. So I'm standing in front of a work cell, and what we have here is an operator builds the light fixture from start to finish, and they build the entire customer order. And that's how we handle all orders 15 or less, where we consider small lots. Large lots we handle through a progressive assembly line, and that's all orders 15 to 500. And for special projects, we have a second assembly line that's identical to the first, and we just staff that as needed as the special project orders come in. This strategy, having 3 different methods to handle 3 different order types, allows us to serve all 3 customers without putting any one customer behind another. So at the end of the assembly process, the fixture is boxed and taped, and this is another place where we differentiate from traditional. Traditionally, we send it to the warehouse, but now we palletize at the end of assembly. It gets wrapped and put on a truck, so we no longer warehouse any product. At the end of assembly, we directly ship to the customer. So after the first three parts of transformation, order flow, materials, and manufacturing, we realized that there were a couple gaps that needed to be addressed. The first gap was materials and vendor relationships. The second gap was part standardization. Matt and Keith are now going to go over the details behind those.
Hi, my name is Keith McHugh and I am Transformation Leader for Supplier Relationship Team. The Supplier Relationship Team was launched as soon as the transformation began making an impact in the plant. It became obvious that we needed to introduce the vision to our suppliers, we needed our suppliers to embrace the transformation, and we needed to improve the relationship with our suppliers. When the supermarket was launched, it was clear that we needed fewer suppliers, we needed shorter lead times, lower minimum order quantities, and frequent deliveries. The Hendersonville supply chain contains more than 250 suppliers. Knowing that we cannot partner with this many suppliers, a strategy was made to align the right amount of suppliers with the expectations of the plant. Next, the team met with the highest volume suppliers and introduced them to the vision of the transformation. This involved bringing them in-house to the plant and spending 3 to 4 hours per supplier, taking them through the entire process. This has been very well received by our suppliers, and in 2012, Hendersonville welcomed more than 30 suppliers to show them the transformation process. In addition to improving supplier relationships, Hendersonville has also taken a new approach to cost out. Traditional cost out focus has been on deflation and improving days to pay, with no focus on the plant's ability to meet customer demands. Historically, projects were completed that maximized traditional cost out metrics. This led to an increased number of suppliers and a fractured supply chain. In 2012, Henderson moved away from the traditional cost out focus to a total material cost out focus. Total material cost out focus is irrelevant of the bucket it hits. If it helps reduce lead time, if it helps changeovers at the supplier, if it helps any bucket that helps drive the cost of the material down, the team worked on the project. In 2012, the team closed more than 35 projects, yielding $3.8 million in benefit. Next, I'll hand it over to Matt Pulley, who's going to talk to you about part standardization.
Hello, my name is Matt Pulley and I am the standardization leader here at Hendersonville for our transformation processes. What we're doing here with standardization is very similar to what many of you are familiar with cost out type projects, with the end game being taking out cost in the plant, but also we're trying to reduce parts in the plant as well. While we're doing this, we're not necessarily trying to reduce SKUs or products that customer may order, but we're trying to reduce the parts that make up those orders. An example might be we may have 100 products that we make for customers with 500 parts, and I want to figure out how we get that down to 400 parts or 350 parts so that we can still make those same customer orders without having to use multiple parts or different parts. Some examples of that we've had here in the plant are a rain shield that we've used in multiple product lines across our roadway areas. We had 3 different rain shields that we were using, and in that process we were able to do some redesign and cut that down to 1 rain shield used across all of the roadway lines, and thus eliminate parts that were in the inventory system and going through the plant. We've also had success in our lead wire area where maybe we had 4 or 5 different leads that were between 8 to 12 inches, and we standardized on a 12-inch lead or maybe an 8-inch lead, going for whatever the application may be. Once again, this does not affect the customer's end use, but it affects what we track and move throughout the plant. Another great example is what we're trying to do with some of our labels that we have and printing them on demand at the point of use in the line. Some of our products that we have several labels that go inside of them, and maybe they have very similar information across the product. One example is our LED labels, where we have upwards of 50 different labels that have the very same basic information, but are having to be printed outside with multiple POs and multiple minimal order quantities. If we are able to take that and put it into 1 blank label, we can maybe have 1 PO, 1 minimum order quantity, and we print it all on demand at the point of use. This is important because it helps us not only consolidate locations in the plant. There is a finite amount of space that we have to be able to store material and to move material with. It also helps with our inventory levels, being able to help keep those at low levels, and also being able to help us keep our amount of POs and things that we're spending throughout the plant down to a minimum. This would not have been possible without a real team effort for what we're trying to do here. It took technology, manufacturing, product management, sales, materials, sourcing, multiple folks across many different areas of the plant and the business to be able to make this happen, so that we're making sure that we're not only reducing those part numbers, we're maintaining the same level of quality and not impacting our customers. This is one way that we're helping transform Hendersonville into a customer-centric plant.
So let me go over some of the things that Luke, Brian, and myself have talked about today, kind of the 5 principles of our transformation. First was simplify order flow. Second, build to order, no batching. Third, all material always on hand. Fourth, customer-centric manufacturing. And the last one is no warehousing, direct ship. So let me go over now some of the benefits that we saw from transformation. And first, we saw 2 categories of benefits. We saw benefits that the customer sees, then we saw our traditional internal benefits. And first, I'm going to review the customer ones. First is, it's easier. We have a paperless order entry thing, and it's easier for customers to order product from us, easy to do business with. Second is, we're fast. We're on average 5 days order to ship. And the other is, there's no need for the customer to stock product anymore. They get cash savings out of that. And the fourth is that in emergencies, we have 24-hour turnaround available. Now on the traditional side, kind of the internal things that we always measure, fill rate went much higher, 60%, now we're at 97+%. Cycle time was reduced from 25 to 5 days. And so just to make sure everybody understands, before we were at a 60% fill rate on 25 days, now we're at a 97% fill rate on 5 days. We saw labor savings of $3 million. We saw material savings of $3.8 million, transportation savings on inbound of $2.4 million, and we saw an inventory reduction of $5.3 million.
I'm Joey Justice, leader of the M400 line. I want to talk to you about a few things that have changed since the transformation process went into effect. Pre-transformation, every week I would get a weekly schedule, 3,000 to 4,000 to 5,000 units. And I would receive that schedule, and I solely ran what I could run ballast and parts wise. First I'd need the ballast to run anything, then after that I would have to go and make sure I had the parts to run everything that I needed to run. I didn't run by customer request, I didn't run by no specific order, but what parts I had and what I was capable of running, which sometimes led me running 2 weeks ahead just because I didn't have the parts to run the current week's schedule. Now, since the transformation process came into effect, every order is delivered to me by customer due date. And as those due dates come down the line, the ballast is built first. Then after the ballast is built, it goes straight to the line to where we build that product strictly by what the customers demand, by the due date. Once I receive the customer's order packet, I don't worry about parts, I don't worry about any of the issues. The supermarket, mini market has supplied all the parts. We build the ballast for the part, and it goes straight down the assembly line. Instead of sitting in front of a desk 4 hours a day trying to figure out what we can run, I'm on the floor, working with my team, ensuring that quality part is making it out the door on time. This way I focus more of my attention on the area, the safety of the area, the cleanliness of the area, and just making sure the transformation process is working smoothly like it's supposed to work. It's a great process that has changed this job dramatically, and I think it's a step in the right direction.
My name is Julie Williams, and I work with production planning. 2 of the problems that we had before the transformation occurred were visibility to orders and speed. When a customer asked if a particular order could be improved or expedited, I would sometimes not be able to tell because we aggregated our demand in groups, and we would schedule these things 2 and 3 weeks out, not by discrete orders, but by groups of orders. And that made it very difficult to tell when a specific order was going to be built and if we had the material to make that particular order. Well, after transformation, things are a lot simpler and it's a lot easier to get that information. Because our orders come in one at a time and we send them out in work orders one at a time discreetly, we always know the status of that one work order, and we can tell a customer, yes, we can expedite your order, yes, here's when it's going to be made, and we know if we have the material or not. And it's a whole lot quicker. So the quality of information that we're able to give our customers has greatly improved.
Hello, I'm Paul Morse, and I'm the GM of sales for the Roadway vertical. My team sells Roadway products to utilities, municipalities, and DOTs. Before transformation, our reputation with our customers was around great products and superior quality. Unfortunately, our service reputation did not meet those same high standards. In a sales leader role back then, we would spend more than 25% of our time resolving customer issues around missed promises and long lead times. Today, after transformation, our roles are much different and much better. Less than 1% of our time is spent resolving customer issues, and our customers are recognizing the service improvements. We are now winning business beyond just being low in price. Transformation has allowed us to get back to selling, especially our new LED platforms. Winning our big deals in Las Vegas, Baltimore, Oakland, and San Diego would not have been possible if we were all tied up resolving service issues.
So now you have seen our transformation story and hopefully heard from our employees the many benefits, both from the customer side as well as internal metrics. In addition, we have implemented measurement tools to help understand the pulse of the shop, such as daily production report, showing orders released, orders produced, open orders, and units per man-hour produced. Also, we post weekly productivity charts, cycle time charts, and fill rate charts, measuring how we are meeting our customers' expectations. This method has truly helped institute a culture of accountability and continuous improvement.